Sometimes you have fractions inside fractions. So you have some tangled mess of fractions. Before we try to take apart any such mess, let's just ask the following question. Is a over b over c equal to a over b over c? Maybe yes, maybe no. What do you think? Well, suppose we don't know. Suppose I have no idea. What are some things we could do? Well, I could try to plug in some numbers for a, b, and c and see if it works out. Now, if I plug in some numbers and this happens to be equal to this, that doesn't mean it's always going to work. But if I can plug in numbers and I find an example where they're not equal, then I know for a fact that this is not true. This is not a rule. So let's see. Let's try something. Now, I could try a equals 1, b equals 1, c equals 1. That's probably not a good idea, because 1 times anything and 1 divided by 1, and you can multiply and divide by 1s all day, and you're not going to get anything other than 1. So let's try this. Let's just see. It's sort of one of the simplest things I could do. That's what I would get. Well, what do I have here? I have 1/2 divided by 3 over 1, and I have 1 over 1 divided by 2 over 3. So I get this, 1/2 times 1/3, and I get 1 over 1 times 3 over 2. So is, and these are all question marks, by the way, because I'm trying to figure out if this is true. I'm not asserting that it's true. So is 1/6 equal to 3/2? No, absolutely not. This is closer to 0 than 1, and this is bigger than 1. These aren't anywhere near each other. So this rule is false. Of course, there are numbers for which it is true, like if a is 0, and the other two numbers are non-zero, anything non-zero, then I'd get 0 equals 0, sure. So once in a great, great while, under very specific conditions, this might be true, but in general, this is not true. So I have to be very careful when I write stuff like this. Because what does this mean? Am I trying to say this is a over b divided by c? Or am I trying to say this is a divided by b over c? So always keep your parentheses. You see, now that's clear. I know what I mean by that. Even if I draw things the same size, I can indicate. But you know what? I don't even want to draw things the same size. I want to be able to write stuff like this. Now it's very, very clear as to exactly what I mean. So keep that in mind. Let's look at some fractions inside fractions next.